and feel sexy. So maybe you can, tell us a little bit about your journey. Like, how did you even come to this point? Why did you design the program?
So really quick, in my first life, I like to say I worked on Wall Street in New York City. I was an equity sales trader. That's my first, what I did when I graduated from college. I was in business, finance. So I did all that. It was awesome in the 90s. Everybody was happy and making money. And then I had children in my early 30s. So I stopped going to the city because it was just too much. I wanted to raise my kids. But I always worked out. Like I always exercised. I lifted weights. I did it through my pregnancies, made it super easy to have kids and bounce back. And a friend of mine owned a few corporate gyms in Stamford, Connecticut, where I live right outside of Stamford. And she said, why don't you love to work out. Why don't you just get your certification and come and teach a couple lunch classes from me? I have, a group of people that like to come in at lunch and do a 45-minute exercise class. So I decided to take her up on it. So that's when I got my NASM certification. I just started teaching some classes. And then it just kind of snowballed. People were like, hey, do you do personal training? Would you ever could I come down and do a session? I'm like, yeah. And then it grew from there. But then I realized I was really more interested in the nutrition aspect. Like when we eat food, what happens? If we want to build muscle, how do we do that? What do we need to eat? How do we need to live? And I ended up going back to school in my early 40s to get my master's degree in nutrition. And then same thing, I kept doing personal training, but I was helping some competitors because I met people from competing and helped them get on stage. And then other women were coming to me saying, hey, I really would like to lose 20 pounds, 10 pounds. And it just created a life of its own until I got divorced in 2017. And I realized, okay, I got to make, it's time to make a living and work full time again and do all that. So it just sort of developed into a Linda Stevens Fitness. And given that I am currently just turned 54, but I feel like I can speak to this demographic because I am one. And I experience all the same things that they do. So, but I know how I live. So I've just made it a program of, hey, if you want to, you can't do things the way we did that in our 20s and 30s, right? Women will come to me and say, I have all this weight in my midsection. I have all this weight on my legs, my butt, back of my arms look terrible. So it just became let's change that. Let's eat differently. Let's move. Let's change our mindset. Let's do all these different things. And it's just been really rewarding because I've been able to help so many women. I have clients all over the United States, which is pretty cool. So I decided to package it because I can help more people in a group than I can one-on-one because there's just one of me. So Midlife Mastery sort of became about because I was just talking to my business coach one day and I'm like, I should be like a midlife master or something. And he was like, wait, what'd you just say? And that's really how we created it. And he's like, you can do more with a group. You can touch more women in a group than just one-on-one. So that's what I'm evolving into now. I have a lot of one-on-one clients that I work with, but what I want to be able to do is offer it to 15, 20 or more women at a time.